Welcome back, where we build discipline, consistency, and success habits.
Staying consistent songs is simple until you actually try to do it. At the beginning, everything feels easy. You're motivated, excited, ready to change your life. You tell yourself, this time I'm going to stay consistent. But after a few days, maybe a week, you get tired, you get distracted, life gets in the way, and suddenly you don't feel like doing it anymore. So you stop and then you start again later, only to repeat the same cycle over and over and over. And that's where most people stay stuck. Point one says the real reason people fail. Most people don't fail because they're lazy. They fail because they rely on feelings. They say things like, I'll do it when I feel motivated. I'll start when I'm ready. But here's the truth. You're not always going to feel ready. But some days you feel focused and productive. Other days you feel tired, distracted, or just not in the mood. If your actions depend on your feelings, your progress will always go up and down. Think about it. If you only study when you feel like it, or only work when you feel motivated, how far can you really go? Not very far. Because success doesn't come from doing things sometimes. It comes from doing them consistency. Point two says systems over feelings. The people who actually stay consistent doesn't really rely on motivation. They build systems. A system is something you do no matter how you feel. It removes the decision. For example, instead of saying, I'll work when I feel like it, you decide, I work every day at 6 p.m. That's not a question anymore. It's a habit. Just like brushing your teeth. You don't wake up and say, do I feel like brushing my teeth today? You just do it. That's what a system does. It turns effort into routine. And once something becomes routine, it becomes easier to stay consistent. But, real quick for you guys, if you're trying to stay consistent and actually improve your life, make sure you subscribe and posting videos like this to help you step by step. Alright, let's continue. Point 3 says why most people burn out. Another reason people struggle with consistency. They try to do so much too fast. They go from doing nothing to trying to change everything overnight. Waking up early, working out, studying for hours, posting content every day, and for a few days it works. They feel productive, they feel proud. But then reality hits. They get tired, they lose energy, and everything starts to feel overwhelming. So they quit, not because they're weak, but because they try to do too much at once. Point 4 says, start small and build. Here's what actually works. Start small, really small, even 10 minutes a day. That's what most That might not sound like a lot, but that's the point. Because small actions are easy to repeat, and repetitions builds habits. For example, 10 minutes a day of just studying every day is better than 2 hours a week. 2 hours once a week, because consistency beats instantly, and over time, those small actions grow into something powerful. Point five, the last one for you guys. This is where most people lose. Most people go down on money. Most people don't feel that motivation. Most people don't do that discipline. Point five says, focus on showing up. Stop trying to be perfect. Stop waiting for the perfect time, the perfect mood, or the perfect plan. Focus on one thing, showing up. Even one, even on days when you feel tired, even on days you don't feel motivated, even on days you don't feel like skipping. Just showing up, because showing up is what builds discipline, and discipline is what creates results. So let's recap. Point one, the real reason people fail. Point two, systems over feelings. Point three, why most people burn out. Point four, start small and build. And point five, focus on showing up, because at the end of the day, consistency is what separates people who start from people who actually succeed.
Stay consistent, stay focused, and I'll see you in the next one.